My coworkers are always saying, oh my god, Antarctica in here.
Singapore is one of the best places, in my opinion, to actually grow your money, to grow your wealth. Singapore has a uniform. It's called the Uniqlo
Even
uniform.
you know about that.
Yeah. There was a half-naked man with blood coming down his skull. That's why a lot of rich people, they come here to put their money.
As an expat, I do see a lot of opportunity to grow here.
Okay, hi everyone. Today is a very special episode. This is my first time doing a long-form podcast-style interview, and I have a very special guest with me today, Ernestine from all the way from the US. Can you say hi to my viewers?
Hi everyone!
Yeah, so today what we are going to talk about is the pros and cons of living here in Singapore from the perspective of an American expat and a Singapore local. So let's go.
Yes. Okay.
Could you introduce yourself a little bit to the viewers?
Yeah, of course. Hi everyone, my name's Ernestine Siu, and I've been living in Singapore for about a year now, but originally I'm from San Francisco, the San Francisco Bay Area.
Ernestine, how this is going to go is I'm going to ask you what are the 3 pros of living here in Singapore and the 3 cons.
Okay.
All right, you're going to take some time, you're going to write it in your phone, and I'm going to do it, and we're going to compare, all right?
Okay, right now?
Yes, right now.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay. What are your 3 pros of living here in Singapore?
Okay, my 3 pros are 1, safety. 2, the city is very small, but it's very global, which I love. And 3, the ease of travel.
Okay, and for me, from a local's perspective, I also have safety, I have stable government, and I have upward mobility. Let's talk about safe, since we have safety.
Right.
Let's talk about that. I guess a lot of us agree that Singapore is safe, but if you've never been out of the country, sometimes we can take it for granted. So, Ernestine, could you share your perspective?
Yeah, so I grew up around the San Francisco Bay Area. San Francisco has a lot of stereotypes, some of which can be true. Like from your experience, you went to San Francisco for like 3 months, right?
Yes.
All I can say is just avoid the downtown area. There is a lot of homelessness. And I've also lived in New York City. So I've lived around different cities around the US. And growing up, I always had this constant lingering anxiety when just walking around or living day-to-day life, especially if I'm by myself. Like I was always scared to walk outside by myself in the dark, and I would avoid certain areas of town. I feel like I just don't have that feeling here. I've only felt safe, but obviously you don't want to take advantage of it or take that for granted. But I'd say that's generally true, and a lot of people feel that way about Singapore.
Yeah. As a local, I didn't feel how safe it is until I actually went to Ernestine's hometown in San Francisco. Off camera, I was just telling the story. So I had an opportunity when I was working in Google to live in the US, to work in the US, and they sent me to San Francisco. And the company is asking me, where do you want to stay? And then I looked at the list, and then it says downtown. So I picked that. I was like, oh, downtown. Because in Singapore, you think downtown is like, city center, like where Raffles Place, City Hall is at downtown. And then could you explain what downtown is to my viewers?
Yeah, so in San Francisco, downtown, a big part of downtown is it's called the Tenderloin. And there's just a lot of homelessness. Like the drug crisis, really, the opioid crisis really hit that area very hard. And there can be a lot of break-ins. You gotta be careful. There might be like needles on the floor even. I mean, I usually don't walk through that area very often.
Yeah, so when I went there, I still remember this is my first business trip to the US. I was so excited. I got my luggage and I got an Uber to that place. I went into the service apartment. Very nice. The downtown has a lot of very nice buildings.
Yeah.
And then right outside my service apartment, there was a half-naked man sitting on the floor with blood coming down his skull and a needle stuck in his arm. And then I was like, oh my God, where am I? Where am I? Where am I? And then so in terms of safety, I agree with you. Singapore really is safe, to the point of sometimes some people think that it's too safe. Right? There's actually a YouTuber, I don't know if you've seen, he deliberately left his laptop in a Starbucks here in City Hall, in the mall there. And he put a small little camera and he left it for an hour and no one took his laptop.
Yeah.
Would that happen in the US?
Yeah, so in the US, something that I always do is, I mean, a lot of people drive in the US, and when you're parked, you always know to put everything into the back trunk where it's not visible, or else your car could be broken into. It's happened to me multiple times.
Like your car, someone smashed into your car? Oh, then what happened?
Or they've stolen my side mirror.
Why would they want your
I
side
don't know.
mirror?
I think they resell it on the black market, but just little things like that, you have to be careful. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, my second point, this is from an expat perspective. I feel like a lot of people complain about how small the country is, but I feel like it can also be beneficial because it's small, but it's global. So there are people from all around the world here, and Singapore does attract a lot of top talent from all around the world. So I feel like it's been really easy for me to meet people from different places, easier than it would have been if I was in the US.
Right. Okay. I have upward mobility as in Singapore. So I don't know if you feel that way. Maybe you can share your perspective as well. But coming from Singapore, I felt that like if you come from maybe a not so stable or not so affluent background, through education here, and education here is very affordable and good, and there's a lot of employers here. Like you said, there's a lot of international people here, but that also means there's a lot of international companies here. So regardless of the industry, I feel that in Singapore, if you want to self-improve, you have the opportunity, and then you could find a very good job here. And because it's small, I feel that like I don't know, if I were like into finance and in the US, I would have to move to New York.
Right.
Or if I'm into media, I would have to move to California. But in Singapore, because it's so small, everything is in the city center. You are just 30 minutes away from the tech hub or the finance hub. So you could actually find opportunities, and that's something that I personally have benefited from in terms of improving my life by working here in Singapore.
Yeah, I find that as well. I mean, as an expat, I do see a lot of opportunity to grow here. And I've also seen like people, immigrants from other countries, like from India or from Malaysia, just from other places in Southeast Asia. They also have a lot of opportunity to grow out here.
And I don't know if you know this, but actually Singapore is one of the best places, in my opinion, to actually grow your money, to grow your wealth.
Right.
Right?
It's very pro-business.
It's pro-business, pro-wealth. That's why a lot of rich people, they come here to put their money because of policies like no capital gains tax, no taxes on dividends. And therefore, I think people who are based in Singapore, if so many people are coming here to make use of these policies, I think we ourselves as Singaporeans should also take advantage of these policies and grow our wealth as well.
So my last point is the ease of travel, especially around Southeast Asia. Yeah, the Changi airport, what they say is very true. It's a very nice airport. And they say it's like the nicest in the world, or number two.
Where would you rank it? Where would you, like, you've been to a few airports. Where would you put it?
I mean, out of all the airports I've been to, it's the nicest, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, you could spend a whole day there. Yeah, in Jewel.
Yes.
Yeah, but I mean, outside of just the airport, it's also very well connected. And it's easy to do like a nonstop flight. For example, I'm flying to Vietnam in like a week, and then that flight is, I think, is only 2 hours long. So it's really easy to just go for a weekend trip, and it's a lot of fun. Like a lot of friends I have here, they go island hopping, or like on their weekends they go to Bali, or they go to Vietnam, Thailand. Yeah.
How is it like in the US? Like if you want to go, because it's, do you even go to another state, or because it's so big you could just stay in your city?
Yeah, so I mean, in the US, I'm from California, so 2 hours, I could probably fly to, I don't know, maybe Utah or something. Actually, I don't know. Don't quote me on that. But okay, for example, if I want to go to California to New York City, that's a 6-hour flight. So
that's like here to Tokyo.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's huge. Yeah.
In a third of the time, I could go to a whole nother country, experience another culture. And it's also really cheap. So that's something I really love.
Yeah, and I guess in the US, you don't need to, because at least one of the benefits is like, if you in California, if you want to go to wine you could go to a winery.
Yep.
You want to go skiing or surfing, you have that option, right? Whereas for us, we got to leave the city here.
That's true. But how fun is that you just hop on a flight, and then if you want to hit the slopes, you can go to Japan. That's so much cooler than just going to like Tahoe.
True, Tahoe. Yes. And how does your friends feel when you tell them like, hey, this weekend I'm going to Bali or Vietnam?
I mean, they're jealous. They're like, wow, you're living the life, you know? Yeah.
Okay, but it's all not fun and bright. Let's talk about some of the cons being here in Singapore. So, Ernestine, what do you have on your list?
Okay, this one might be a little bit controversial. I feel like the weather is a little bit of a con for me. My body's still not acclimated. If you guys don't know, it's really, really like hot and humid in Singapore. I mean, from a local's perspective, what do you think of the weather?
It's not controversial at all. I'm very sure the locals also come take the weather. just because we stay here all our life doesn't mean we have accepted it. We also suffer. And in Singapore, we actually have this observation, this joke. I don't know if you notice it. We say Singapore is actually hot and cold because it's really hot. But then when you enter a mall
Yes.
or an office, do you feel like you are suddenly like in
Yeah,
a
it's very
cold place?
Yes, yes, I think so. I mean, I'm more used to the aircon temperature, but I have some coworkers, like the company I work at, they keep their offices very cold. And then my coworkers are always saying, "Oh my God, it's Antarctica in here." I'm like, "Come on, it's not that cold."
Coming from the US and that, like you have really, really cold weather.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, this is something that that Singaporeans like, even though we're from here, the air conditioning is like an office debate, like who gets to
Yes.
control the temperature.
Yeah, I mean, me for example, I keep the air conditioning on all day,
So
and
is that how you
it's
cope with the
expensive.
weather?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I have another friend who's an American expat. The only way he's been able to adjust is he started running outside, which is like running in a sauna. So if you want your body to adjust to the temperature, that might be a good way.
So you gotta
But
like go full on, like put yourself in the heat.
yeah, not for me. So I
Okay.
like,
I've been living here my whole life. I'm never gonna do that anyway.
but it is sunny all day, which I love. Like it's very bright outside. Yeah.
But isn't it even also sunny in California as well? In fact, I would say it's even more sunny, right?
No, I feel like it's comparable. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Because
Okay.
it rains here. Anyways,
Cool.
yeah. How about you?
I have expensive. Do you have that on your list
I
as well?
do. I also have that.
Yes.
Indeed.
So I guess from Singaporeans, we know how expensive our country is, and the government tries its best to help, but it really is. But I would love to hear from an outsider's perspective,
Yeah.
coming from California, which isn't cheap. In fact,
Right.
it's also very expensive.
Yeah.
I think the most expensive state in the US. So how does this compare to there?
So I think I do have. I feel like privileged out here because it feels expensive, but it also feels the same basically as what I was paying before. Because I mean, San Francisco is really expensive. I've also lived in New York. New York is also extremely expensive, but Singapore is surprisingly, I think it's more expensive than I anticipated, especially the rent. Yeah, I feel like the rent is expensive, but you can, everything else, I feel like as an expat, you can get by with
Okay.
not paying too much.
So
Yeah.
rent-wise, compared to San Francisco or even New York, you would say it's comparable, if not even more here?
It's comparable. So, for example, the place I'm in right now, I'm in the CBD area, which is an expensive area of Singapore. I'm paying about 4,000 Sing a month, which I mean is a smart decision. I don't know about that one.
But it's a costly decision.
It's a costly one for sure. And then when I was living in New York, I mean, I was splitting my rent in New York, but that was about 2,500 USD. So pretty comparable. Yeah.
Yeah. I had a friend living in New York, and I visited his Brooklyn apartment, which is a brand new
Yes.
condo, and he was like showing off to me, and he opened it up and he showed me a dryer and a washer, and he said, "This is
Yes.
very precious.
Yes.
You do not every apartment in New York or in the US has its own washer and dryer." And then in coming from Singapore, it's like you have it. You must have a washing machine. But is it true that like
It's true.
why? Because of the sewage system, the plumbing system?
I actually don't know why, but it is true that it's like a national treasure, basically, to have a washer and
Your
dryer.
own washing machine.
Yeah, in your unit. Yeah.
Yeah, because now it makes more sense. You watch the show like Big Bang Theory, where they will always go to the basement to do
Yes,
laundry
yes.
together. So that's not it's a ritual for people to actually get out of their house to do laundry.
Yeah, and you have to share with like random people in your building, or sometimes some buildings don't even have that. So you have to go to a laundromat. That's also very common.
That explains why there's so many laundromats
Yes.
like every other corner or
Yeah.
every other block. Wow.
When I was looking for apartments here, I was looking specifically for a place with laundry. And then, I
And then
realized,
everyone
they all
has
have
it.
that.
So you gotta like give a bit more demand, a higher demand to your
Yeah.
agent. Then.
Yeah, yeah.
Good. Speaking of safety, by the way, we are actually in her $4,000
Yeah.
apartment now. Speaking of safety, and this is actually the first time we are meeting in person. Like we
Yeah.
exchange message and we work
Crazy.
together. But I don't know if you would do this if you were in the US. You met someone online and invite them to your home.
Maybe not. I mean, I'm very intuitive, so I can tell. But Yeah, I think I would be a little bit more cautious if I was in the US, definitely.
Yeah, because in Singapore, the safety, there's a reason. There's cameras everywhere. So if you try to do something funny on everything, I don't think you can run away from it as well.
Yeah. So my last one is, I mean, we were just talking about it. My last one is strict. I actually don't know if this is a full con, but actually, I don't know if this is a con at all.
Okay.
But this is the third con I had. So when I first came here, it was shocking how many cameras there were. I felt like I was always being watched. Now I've grown to actually appreciate it because it's also why the country's so safe, right? But yeah, everywhere you look, there's a camera. Like the MRT exit nearby, there are probably 10 cameras where the exit is.
Yes.
And that's very typical. I feel like it's rare to have any sort of blind spots in the country. Is that true?
I don't know. Growing up here, we sort of got used to it. But everybody, Ernestine is starting her own YouTube channel, so she should get used to being in front of a camera.
Right.
But yes, I agree. Singapore is pretty strict. What are some of the other things that sort of shocked you when you come here?
So in terms of the strictness, I think, for example, in the trains, it's banned. Like you cannot eat or drink on the trains, and I think they're pretty strict about that, right?
Yes-ish.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right. It's well known that on the train you're not even allowed to sip water. But I think over the years they tend to be a bit more empathetic. Like sometimes you need to take your medicine,
Right.
or like you are fainting and it's really hot sometimes, or if the train breaks down, we're all like cramped up. So they do allow it, but I think what they're trying to avoid is like people openly eating,
Right.
which again, like coming from the US, it's perfectly okay to eat on the train.
Yeah, that's totally normal. And that's also why our trains are so dirty comparatively. Yeah.
That is true. That is true. It comes in a cost.
Yeah. How about you? What do you have?
I have lack of space.
Okay.
Like in Singapore. So growing up in Singapore, I always thought that like Singapore is actually like painted in a negative light when foreigners come here and they say, hey, Singapore is so small and everything. But because I was always here, I thought that this is life. There's so many things to do. I could go to Orchard Road on a weekend. I could go to the beach. I can go to Sentosa. But after I had a chance to live in Thailand, where I'm based at right now, or even visit the US, and like I was like, wow, okay, so this is like really massive. Like you could be going to the beach to surf, you could be going up to the mountains to. When I was in San Francisco, yeah, I would take the overnight bus to Tahoe to ski. So you could on a Friday night take a bus service, go to the mountains, ski for a day, and then Saturday night they take that bus back, and then you're back home on a Saturday evening, and you just went for a ski trip. Whereas for us here, to go skiing or to go to like surfing, we would need to go to Japan or Bali. So as I grew a bit older, I started to realize that I want a little bit more variety. And like in Singapore, I don't know if you noticed, like every mall you go to is the same 5 anchor tenants. Uniqlo, FairPrice, McDonald's, Decathlon. And I'm guilty of this as well. So don't, I'm not hating on it. Even I'm guilty. Our fashion sense tends to be the
Don't
same.
get me started on that one.
I mean, this is from Uniqlo, and like we have this joke. I don't know if you know about it. The men in Singapore has a uniform. It's called the Uniqlo
Even
uniform.
you know about that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I always talk about that with my friends.
Yes.
Like with the crossbody bag.
Yes, the crossbody and the baggy T-shirt and this short pants and like this ticks flip flop slippers that we wear. Yes.
It's the thong slippers too.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Croc slippers, the one that.
The Crocs too.
Yes. That's it. I think we are done, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Anything else? Now, Ernestine, now that you have been here for a year, how's your experience here in Singapore?
It's been great. I feel like it's so far from home. I mean, I think it's one of the longest flights in the world. It's 17 hours for me to fly from San Francisco to here. But in some ways it feels familiar. I think maybe because it is a big city, so I feel like I have access to everything I need, basically. Also, the fact that everyone speaks English is really nice, and it's like easy for me to acclimate. And then I think another thing is that I think I'm also privileged to be Chinese here. I feel that because I'm Chinese, like even the different languages that people speak here, like Mandarin or Cantonese, also makes me feel like I'm at home. So that's really nice. And yeah, so it's been a great time. so far.
Is it easy for you to make friends here?
It's definitely easy to make friends. I think the locals are very friendly and welcoming from my experience. And some of them have taken me into their friend groups. And also, like, a lot of the expats are very, very friendly. And it's cool because they're from all around the world. And you think that, oh, maybe there's like different cultures. But no, I mean, if you're someone who wants to leave their hometown and move their entire life to a new country, you're probably going to be very open-minded. So yeah, I've had a great experience meeting people out here.
Cool. So would you be open to meeting new people here in Singapore?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that's also another reason why I started YouTube because I wanted to become more ingrained.
That's where I was leading. I was
Yeah.
leading them to your YouTube channel. So Ernestine has a YouTube channel. So where can they find you?
Yeah, so you can just find me at Ernestine Stew on YouTube.
Yeah, I'm going to
I'm
link
very
it there.
new. Oh, thank you.
Well, thank you so much. I hope you continue to enjoy Singapore. We are very happy when we have expats like yourself live here and work here and interact with us. And I hope your time here, you stay here as long as you want.
Oh, thank you. Thanks, Xiao.
All right, take care, everyone. See you next time.
Bye.